Good evening. I'm forced to be immodest tonight because we have a match of the day that includes the season's top-scoring game and all the goals on this top-scoring Saturday of the Premier League so far. It's quite good. We'll be watching Leeds United, who could have won twice today. They were looking for results at Ipswich and from UEFA. And in Zurich, a short while ago, it was decided that Leeds will face Stuttgart again in a third match to decide who goes through against Rangers in the European Cup. Stuttgart, of course, broke the foreign players rule in their match at Elland Road on Wednesday. More of that later. A milestone for Ian Rush today. His 500th game for Liverpool, 285 goals already in the bag.
Souness, and again from Rush, that's beautifully done, and so is the finish.
Thomas through the middle again, Michael Thomas, Rush, 2-0 Liverpool.
We'll see Liverpool at home to Sheffield Wednesday, and Chris Waddle still left out of the England squad. And our third match is the top team, Norwich, against as the result of last week's Goal of the Month competition, our esteemed panel of judges with us as usual. Well, that European Cup performance by Leeds in midweek quite fittingly received rave reviews, and after tonight's decision, their European ambitions remain. Today in the league, the champions were away to the club that won the championship 30 years ago, Ipswich, the current team beaten only once. At Portman Road this afternoon was John Motson.
A near-capacity crowd in Ipswich Town's 22,000 all-seater stadium, the first completed in the Premier League. And older Ipswich fans will recall that it was Leeds United, whose visit here 17 years ago in an FA Cup tie, drew the ground record of 38,000 to Portman Road. But if crowd limits have changed, one or two faces are still around. And 35-year-old John Walk is still going strong for Ipswich after making his debut as a 17-year-old in that same FA Cup saga against Leeds in 1975. He's won the club's Player of the Year award for the last 3 years that he's been here, and he takes his place today in an Ipswich side that shows the return in attack of number 8 Paul Goddard. Number 4 Mick Stockwell reverts to right back, and goalkeeper Craig Forrest hopes to stay on the pitch a bit longer this week. He was sent off after only 2 minutes last Saturday. A lot's happened since then to Leeds, but they've reported no injuries after their heroic endeavours on Wednesday, so they're unchanged, with the same formation, number 4 David Batty at right back, and number 2 Scott Sellers on the left side of midfield. £2 million signing David Rocastle, yet to make his Premier League debut for Leeds, is on the bench. And here's one reason why, because talking of 35-year-olds, Gordon Strachan of Leeds. A lot's been said about his diet, but longevity in football is also at top level about desire. Referee this afternoon is David Ellery from Harrow. Had an eventful match in Bulgaria in midweek when he booked 10 players in a European tie. Leeds in yellow, playing from left to right in the first half. Dazelle. Batty. This is Stockwell for Ipswich. Dazelle. Thompson. Goddard. It's the final pass that's missing at the moment. That goes for both teams. But there may be one there. Dazelle to Goddard. Chance. Saved by Lukic. Paul Goddard had two options there, to go for goal or play it into Kiwomya. He went for the former. And Kiwomya's to his left, as you can see, but Lukic turns it round. It'll be Thompson with the corner. Oh, it's a goal! And it's Chris Kiwomya after 24 minutes. Oh, how about that? The Yorkshireman scores against Leeds. Neil Thompson's left foot corners are a real problem for defenders, and Kiwomya headed that the way you should, back in the direction that the goalkeeper has come from. He had no chance with that, Lukic. Right in the far corner. Leeds won't be happy about the marking, and they won't be happy about the score. It's 1-0 to Ipswich. Batty. Cantona. And the Frenchman finds Gary Speed. Doesn't quite get it back the first time, but he did the second, Cantona. Chapman. And Dorigo makes the extra man on the left. There's the cross. Cantona with Whelan. Speed. Cantona. This is Batty. Goddard pestering the life out of Fairclough. Questioning whether he can make anything of it now. He's got John Walk on the right. Unmarked over here is Johnson. Into Dozell. Goddard. Johnson was fouled on the edge. The referee played an excellent advantage. In it comes again from Walk. There was a foul, but Ipswich were in such a good position. The referee played on, and he will again, and rightly so. There goes Thompson. Kiwomya. Then the third time he's had to penalise them. Leeds committed 3 fouls there. The first 2, the referee let go because Ipswich had the ball. So I don't see any point in Batty arguing about it. It's a free kick this time for sure. Now Thompson, who's already hit the corner that led to the goal with his left foot, has placed the ball here. He's having a discussion with Walk, number 5. That's Walk. It's in! It's the veteran, Johnny Walk! 2-0 Ipswich. John Walk scores. You never lose it, do you? But Lukic lost it today from the free kick. Because Walk takes this with his right foot, and the goalkeeper seems, first of all, slightly wrong-footed, and then can only get a hand to it and effectively help it in. 36 minutes gone. Walk drove the kick and Lukic seemed a bit far over the other way. 2-0. Thompson away. Now can Leeds get one back before half-time? Gary Speed with the throw. Chapman in the sandwich. Speed again. Flags up, but no need to stop the game. It was for an offside against Leeds. Kiwomya. Johnson. Goddard in a great position. Can he find him? He can. 2 to his right. Still Goddard. He picked out Walk. And Kiwomya! Oh, it's gone wide. Goddard, was it over the line? Penalty, was it? Or was it over the line? Penalty! Penalty, Goddard brought down. Penalty to Ipswich. And nothing at all going right for Leeds. First of all, Kiwomya threatened to score. The ball was going wide of the post. Was it over the line for a goal kick? The referee clearly said play on, and Goddard was bundled over. And now John Walk has a chance to score his second, and Ipswich's third. What a dramatic first half here at Portman Road. It's 3-0. And he's thrilled to bits. And there are celebrations going on all around this stadium. Walk took that, just like McAllister in the week. Gave the goalkeeper no hope at all. McAllister. The away by Linnigan. Number 4, Batty, gave away the penalty. Strachan. Sellers. Batty again. Here comes McAllister. This is Dorigo on the volley. Good effort by Tony Dorigo. Well, what a good half for Ipswich Town. Loud applause, especially for John Walk. Just like the old days, really. 2 goals for Walk. 1 from a free kick and 1 from a penalty. And he's written his name over this first half. Here's the free kick that made it 2-0. And I just wonder if that clipped David Batty on its way through and if a deflection deceived Lukic. Certainly, it was Walk's goal. And at half-time, it's his team, Ipswich Town, who lead by 3 goals to 0. Not the easiest half-time team talk for Howard Wilkinson, I would imagine. So much else on his mind today. And Ipswich get things moving, playing now from the left. John Walk on a hat-trick. That's a reminder of days gone by. And talking of recent history, a year ago here, that's offside, Ipswich's crowds in the old Division 2 actually slumped to around 9,000. What a turnaround in the last 12 months. Champions of that division, now in the Premier League, with an all-seater stadium, and Walk and his team have virtually filled that today for this all-ticket match. There's Dorigo's header to Sellers. Chapman. Oof, that was not what he meant to do. He's aiming for Strachan, I think. There's Goddard. Nice touch back. Johnson. Strachan's at him. It's Johnson back to Kiwomya. Thompson. That's another good ball. That was played for Stockwell. This is Walk. Stockwell. Gazelle. Hit the bar. Kiwomya. Jason Gazelle so close to number 4. The header was good enough to beat the goalkeeper. Mickey Stockwell curls it in here, right foot. Gazelle gets free. Good header against the bar and out. This was the Gazelle header, which was well directed away from John Lukic's leap, and it clips the bar as it goes over. Good effort by Jason Gazelle. Well, the flicks are all very well from Cantona, but when you're 3 down, I think it might be more of a digging-in process than a fanciful one. It could have been 4 by now, I have to say. And I would imagine the Leeds manager has been less than pleased with his defence up to now. Look at the gap there. Kiwomya's away. Good run, comes off Chris White. Goddard to his right would have preferred the ball to have been squared earlier, but Kiwomya was going for glory there. Oh, goalkeeper now joins in the chip passing, and indirectly has put them in some difficulty. This is Cantona. Strachan lets it run. McAllister. Chapman going in. Oh, and Stockwell. Well, Chapman puts his arms up, but Mickey Stockwell, number 4, seemed to get some contact on that to me, the Ipswich defender. And really, Ipswich were playing around a bit there. Forrest was trying some trickery outside his area. Leeds got the ball back, and watch number 4 Stockwell as this cross goes in. He goes in with Lee Chapman, and it looks to me, well, Chapman may try and claim that, but perhaps there was a touch from both of them. But certainly Stockwell tried to intercede, and Forrest unable to keep it out. 3-1. But Thompson still having a very solid match there. It's a good-looking ball for Kiwomya. Lobbed forward by Speed for Cantona. Leeds are buzzing a bit now. The goal seems to have lifted them. But then again, if you're champions, no way can you capitulate. Here's Linnigan with the header, and miscontrol by Williams has given Strachan possession here. And Leeds pile 4 men in the penalty area again. Sellers having to check out now. This is Dorigo. Now it's White. And now Batty. In it goes for Chapman. It's too long for him, and Stockwell finds Walk. Fairclough, an easy winner there against Kiwomya. This is Dorigo. Corner to Leeds. Linnigan thought he was pushed by Chapman there, and I thought he had a case, but Leeds get the verdict, and they could get something more than that, because Chris White and Chris Fairclough are both forward here. In goes White, right across, and 3-2, Gary Speed. Well, Ipswich caught napping from a corner as Leeds were in the first half. And now it's 3-2, and Leeds are really back at it. Forrest here had his eye on White and Chapman. Neither of them made proper contact. The ball in the 6-yard box, and Gary Speed reacting with a flying, diving, stooping header. And what a good match for the spectator we have here now. What a week it's been for Leeds. Johnson for Ipswich. That's dipping a bit, but not that much. Life's looking a lot better for Leeds at the moment. And they've stepped the pace up again. McAllister sorted that out beautifully. Batty. There are arms up now, in the nicest sense of the word, calling for the ball by Leeds, which perhaps they weren't in the first half sometimes. Amazing what a couple of goals can do. But here are Ipswich with Johnson, and Goddard has got the opportunity to spread this to Walk here. Johnson's made a through run, number 9, good positioning by him. Kiwomya is far post, not near post. Johnson couldn't swing it over, and it's Strachan for Leeds. Here's Stockwell. This is Goddard. Walk. Dazelle! That's a fabulous goal. Ipswich have gone 4-2 up, and Dazelle went to the corner flag there for a private celebration, but it's being shared all round the ground now. John Walk hooks the ball in long. It's too long for Kiwomya, but what about that? He's come in behind the defender. It's a lovely cross from the experienced man on one side of the pitch, but Dazelle flies through and puts that right in the corner. Nice little ball, Cantona. Rocastle coming in here. Speed couldn't reach it. Strachan might, and did. Hit him while he was on the ground. Williams. Thompson taken out by Rocastle. And that ball by Geraint Williams picks out Kiwomya. Goddard in the middle. Kiwomya. John Walk! Oh, what a save! Oh! John Walk looking for the hat-trick. John Lukic responded magnificently there. It may have had a deflection from Walk's shot, and it was pulled back to him by Kiwomya. A sweeping effort and a fine save. Corner to Ipswich. Walk coming in as well for that one also. Well, John Walk saying on Football Focus at lunchtime that if you're playing well enough, you'll get in the team however old you may be, and he's proved it today. This is Goddard, Dazelle, and that's Kiwomya onto a pass from Williams, wide across, it's still Kiwomya! It's a fine save again by Lukic. He's cut the score down in the second half. 3 very good stops by the goalie. Kiwomya did everything right, chased it, collected it, controlled it, curled it inside his opponent Chris White, took it inside him and went for the far corner. What a good save. That would surely have made it certain for Ipswich, but for Lukic. Corner. There's Whelan, but there was also a push. Forward by Chris White. Fairclough's forward, so is Chapman here. It's come out to McAllister. And still Leeds go for it. It could surely only be a consolation now. Cantona. Rocastle. That's Fairclough. No, not offside. Chris White put him on. Walk. And he's onside again. It's Kiwomya. Can he finish it here? Kiwomya! Oh, he's put it wide. That would have been the perfect conclusion for Ipswich Town today. The square line defence beaten, the flag stayed down, Lukic narrowed the angle, and Kiwomya dragged that a long way wide. Drama right to the last here. This is speed. Well, the crowd are getting their money's worth today. We're into the 3rd minute of stoppage time. Cantona. That's too long for Rocastle. And the roar that goes up on the final whistle signals that the good times are back at Portman Road. And with John Walk, a bridge between the years gone by and the modern team, Ipswich Town now are firmly established in the Premier League. They've beaten the champions by 4 goals to 2. Leeds, despite their midweek exertions, came back from 3-0 down to make a game of it. But they'll talk about the goal by Jason Dazelle for a long, long time here in Suffolk. The final score, as the 35-year-olds congratulate each other, Walk and Strachan, Ipswich Town 4, Leeds United 2, and the teams go off to thunderous applause.
In a sense, a victory like that over the champions must have established Ipswich in people's minds, not just round here, but you are now there in the top half of the Premier League.
Yeah, it's early days though, John, isn't it? We don't want to get carried away. We know that we've got still formidable sides to come here. Whilst we're pleased at the way things are going so far, we know we're still learning in the Premier League, and we'll just carry on.
Ipswich are a very honest team. They're a very workmanlike team. You know, they do things very simply, but above all, they work very hard. They have a great team shape, if you like. Today it was changed a little bit to what they normally play, but they work for each other, they graft for each other, they closed us down, they played the game very quickly, and it took us too long to come to terms with that, and amidst all that we made, you know, some I was going to say tragic, that's the wrong word, but some
Costly errors.
Costly errors of a very, very basic kind.
Yeah.
Well, out of the result that did go Leeds United's way today, the decision just now that they'll play Stuttgart, who transgressed the foreign players rule last Wednesday, again on a neutral ground. Let's hear what the Leeds chairman, Leslie Silver, thinks about that. He joins us live now from the Leeds studio. What's your view of that decision, Mr. Silver?
Well, I'm very disappointed because I feel that the mistakes were made by Stuttgart. And any other sport, if you make a mistake or if you're penalised, you break the rules, you're just kicked out. I feel that we have been very badly done to them, certainly considering an appeal against this decision.
I think you have to appeal by Tuesday, so you would do that, would you?
We would, I think.
Apparently the final decision, or if your appeal is unsuccessful, the decision about a neutral ground and place will be made on Wednesday. Where would satisfy you if you have to put up with that?
Well, I think we have to accept the fact that the game that the mistake was made was at Leeds. Why shouldn't this game, if it's going to have to be played again, why shouldn't it be played in Leeds?
So that's what you would really...
That's what we want.
That's what you want. But the chances are you may have to play it some other country, which would be strange, wouldn't it, really?
Well, we'll see by Wednesday, but I feel right now that, as is usual with committees, they've tried to find the happy compromise, and I don't think it's fair to Leeds under these circumstances. The mistake, you must remember, the mistake was made over the 90 minutes, not the last 8 minutes. The Stuttgart team put in the 4 foreign players over the whole 90 minutes. The fact that they only played 3 of them, and then the last one in the last 8 minutes is really of no great consequence.
Out of interest, when did you find out about that transgression?
We found out actually via a German news report, sometime on Thursday afternoon about 3 o'clock. We were then asked whether we had made an objection, and we said no, but we asked for clarification at that point, and then you were confirmed by about 4:30 that they had indeed played 4 foreign players.
Well, you will appeal then, and good luck with that, but if it's unsuccessful, good luck with the replay.
Thank you very much.
Well, now, chaps, what do you think about that? What do you think, Alan?
Well, rules are rules. Stuttgart should be out. In my opinion, it makes a mockery of the competition.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely agree. I mean, if Howard Wilkinson made the point this morning, if a golfer marks his scorecard wrong, if a sprinter does 2 false starts, he's out, and a Grand Prix driver reverses. In all other sports, they would be out, and they've got away with it. I think the German influence is going. I wouldn't surprise if the neutral ground was Frankfurt or somewhere.
A committee decision. They took hours over it today. They were there all day coming to that particular conclusion. Now, Leeds, for all their strengths, are leaking a few goals, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very, very positive away from home, and they're vulnerable to the counter-attack. Here we have Batty in the ball. Now he plays it in. When we freeze the picture, you'll see 6 yellow jerseys in there, and more importantly, 4 of the midfield players are in there, and they're always going to be vulnerable to the counter-attack, and that's what happens here. The 3 guys that are circled, 2 midfield players and a central defender, are out of the game, and they're always stretched after that. They try and get back, but Goddard gets the ball here, plays it across, a great shot in from John Walk, good save from Lukic, and I don't know what David Batty was doing here. It was a bad tackle and he paid for it. But again, the 2 circle players, Speed and McAllister, are out of the game. Leeds have lost possession, and again, Ipswich have them stretched. A good ball through. I thought Chris White should have been closer here, take a longer, but he waits and waits. And the Leeds players are trying to get back, but John Watt gets in, and another good save from Lukic. So they're always going to score goals, but they're always going to lose them.
It's always difficult for a team the year after they've won the title, of course, Gary, isn't it?
It is. I think there's 2 things. One, and I was speaking to Lee Chapman last week about this, he was saying that he feels as though there's not quite the urgency, perhaps they're resting on the laurels a little bit than the season before. And the other thing is that the other teams are now playing the champions and it's a bigger game, so they motivate themselves a bit more.
Here are you 2 guys out of the game. Well, you temporarily, of course, Gary. And there's John Walk, goes on and playing marvellously.
Yeah, and last year, well, he's on the right-hand side of midfield. He's been playing sweeper or centre-back all season, and that's a great run from Johnson, a great ball in from John Walk. And this is about 30 seconds later, he picks the ball on the right-hand side again. So a good ball into Stockwell, who plays it out to Goddard, and a bit of support from Walkie. And that's a terrific ball in. That's a bullet-like header, a great goal. And this is a cross from Batty, and it is in the defensive position, and that is experience, class and confidence.
Yeah, he was nearly out of the game at one
Well, I
stage.
spoke to him about 14 months ago. He'd just been freed from Middlesbrough. Nobody wanted him. He went to train with Ipswich for a couple of weeks. They got a couple of players injured, and the rest is history.
Can't dislodge him. Good old boy. Well, now to the clubs who began the day as the top two in the Premier League, Blackburn Rovers and Norwich. Norwich 2 points clear going into their match at Ewood Park. The league's top scorer, Alan Shearer, partnered today by Roy Wegerle in for the suspended Newell. Gordon Cowan's also in the Blackburn lineup. Robbins and Phillips, of course, have been the danger men for Norwich this season. An extraordinary match. If you blink, you'll miss things. And there's one goal in particular that could win everything from goal of the season to the Booker Prize and the Eurovision Song Contest. Commentary from Gerald Sinstadt.
Wegerle. Shearer was close. Wegerle wasn't allowed to turn and find it. Newman blocked as he passed. Hendry's clearance, and Shearer, he's got some yards to make up, but he's got the pace to do it. Round his man. Now can he get the cross in? Wegerle's waiting, he slipped, and he's up and he scored! Made by Shearer's pace, and Roy Wegerle, having received the pass, fell over and still had time to stand up and put the ball past Gunn. That's 1-0. Right to Hendry. Sherwood against his old team to make it 2-0 after 27 minutes. He's looking for Phillips, finds him. Hendry there before Robbins. And Shearer now. Used his weight, used it legitimately, gets himself a clear run on goal, sets it up for Wegerle, 3-0. Unselfish by Shearer, just used his weight to shrug off the defender. He could have gone on and shot himself, saw Wegerle in a better position and set it up to give Wegerle his second goal of the game and put Blackburn Rovers 3-0 in front, 33 minutes gone. Now there's a glimpse of Ripley's pace. We haven't really seen him turn it on like that down the touchline before this afternoon. And that's a bad back header. Newman let in. Can he chip the goalkeeper? Didn't need to. Hendry's error lets in Newman, and Norwich are back in the game. Now Culverts. Newman unmarked and calling for the ball through the middle. Hendry at the moment left with Newman and Robbins. Norwich unable to make anything. A touch of anticlimax about this second half. It's one of those games where the excitement, the quality was so good that you felt you didn't want them to go in for half-time. It does sometimes change the atmosphere of the game, and it seems to have done that with this one. Needed Norwich to get a second goal, but it has looked less and less likely. And now Shearer goes under pressure from Chris Sutton, and Mr. Dilks reaches for his pocket. What does he pull out of it? Did Shearer have a clear run on goal if he hadn't been fouled? Apparently not. Sherwood or Cowans? Cowans, good one. Oh, beauty. If ever a man has earned a goal, it was Gordon Cowans. He's been outstanding in this match, served everybody else, and then stepped up and helped himself. Awkward one, and it's headed straight out to Ripley, and Ripley makes it 6. Poor Brian Gunn left absolutely stranded. The header from Chris Sutton went straight to Stuart Ripley, and that's his 3rd goal of the season. And this is a rout.
And here it is again, we'll see it. But he really gets it up quickly here.
I didn't think he was going to chip it there myself. I thought he was going to side foot it.
Well, he surprised 3 of them. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Terrific goal.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
But we've got another goal coming up, haven't we, in due course, that, well, one of you
It's a bit special with the other goal.
So we'll discuss that in a minute. Right, before we move on to our other main match, Liverpool against Sheffield Wednesday, let's have the goals from some of the other games, starting with the London derby at Loftus Road today.
Spurs' away form without a win, only 1 goal before today, can hardly have encouraged them at Loftus Road, but they got a first-half lead, Nicky Barmby getting away from Darren Peacock. It was Teddy Sheringham who eventually claimed the goal, and Spurs had the chances to extend that lead, but Rangers' response evidence of why their reputation is rising. 4 goals inside 25 minutes, Ian Holloway began the revival. And as Rangers stepped up a gear, it was Andy Sinton who inspired them, with Ray Wilkins, of course. And a Wilkins-headed goal, something to savour. 4 minutes later, Sinton again tormenting Spurs, and this despite an early injury. Gary Penrice and Rangers making it look easy. By the end, it might have been worse for Spurs, but 4-1, Taylor about Andy Sinton.
Basically, I've got a couple of kicks on the ankle, and it's not the actual ankle itself, it's the nerve down the outside, and every time I was getting a touch on it, it was giving me a lot of pain, so it was taking about 2 or 3 minutes each time for the physio to get it working again. But played the second half with a massive strapping on, which got me through the game, and I'll just touch wood, and hopefully it settles down over the next couple of days.
Manchester United in blue needed a tonic after their midweek catastrophe in Russia. Ironically, it came in the form of a penalty. Offender John Gittings was only playing because of a pre-match injury to Alan Kernigan. In contrast to last Tuesday, Steve Bruce did the necessary. But once more, United failed to build on their advantage, and once more they had to settle for a draw, as Middlesbrough found the second-half equaliser from Bernie Slavin. And from behind the goal, it's a moment United's defence will want to forget in a hurry. Not so Bernie Slavin, of course. Even Brian Robson's debut in the Premier League as a sub for Mark Hughes didn't break the deadlock. Manchester City had gone almost 7 hours in the Premier League without a goal, and they've been waiting even longer for Rick Holden to get his name on the scoresheet for his new club. Nottingham Forest obliged both club and player. Despite Forest's dreadful start to the season, though, they're still capable of quality football. Their equaliser, a memorable moment for Ray McKinnon, his first goal for his new club too. Forest's frailty at the back, though, has cost them more than 20 goals in 10 games. It was in evidence today to the benefit of Fitzroy Simpson. Another Forest defeat looking likely until enter Stuart Pearce. A move he helped to get going swept the length of Main Road, and England's captain went with it. 2-2 and a hint that Forest may soon be climbing the table.
Right now, Liverpool against Sheffield Wednesday. Liverpool with just 2 wins had Ian Rush playing his 500th game for them today. Mark Wright out of the main action from that game, and a goal to rival Shearer's earlier.
If it's true that a football team takes on the personality of its manager, then Ron Atkinson is a man of real class. Aston Villa scored 3 suave and sophisticated goals against Wimbledon. The first 2 almost inevitably from Dean Saunders, a striker sailing along on a wave of high confidence at the moment. With a stylish supporting role from Ray Houghton, Saunders took centre stage again, setting himself for his left foot, then finishing with his right. Villa 2 up inside half an hour, Saunders' 3rd brace of goals in as many Premier League games. Wimbledon, without Vinnie Jones already, lost John Fashanu early on, then nearly played their way back into the game. Andy Clark's persistence forced an opening for Paul Miller, maybe some help from Aidan Newhouse, and the Dons were pressing for an equaliser. But a goal of epic proportions 13 minutes from time put an end to all that. Delian Atkinson won possessed a treasure, and he knew it. just singing and dancing in the rain. Wimbledon, who'll play worse and win this season, summoned up one last defiant swipe from Andy Clark. But nothing compared to the goal by the Atkinson that Ron Atkinson had a friendly dig at just last week.
He's been complaining about when I get the ball around the halfway line, I'm heading it on my own more often. But I mean, that one was nice because it was a bit of subtlety as well. Like, you know, it's like I sort of thought what I was doing, which makes a change. Normally I'm just like a bit hairy, like my head just goes and I'm away.
Coventry City's third successive draw came from a game in which they led twice in the opening 20 minutes. First through Andy Pearce, fastening on to Lee Hurst's free kick. A lead that lasted all of 2 minutes. Palace, just starting to get their season moving, seized on Brian Borrow's mistake to equalise through Chris Coleman. Well struck, well timed. Bobby Gould, today crowned Manager of the Month for September, had already seen his team drop 8 home points this season. They regained the lead when Peter Unlov's cross dropped on the head of an unmarked Kevin Gallagher. Nigel Martin felt he knew who should have been marking him. But again, Coventry were denied a home win. John Solarco, being watched by Graham Taylor, served up the chance. And Eddie the Eagle, Eddie McGoldrick, got lift-off to score his 5th of the season. He's Palace's leading scorer. Sheffield United climbed above Southampton today. Saints keeper Tim Flowers seemed to be impeded by his own defender. No defender got close enough to prevent Dane Whitehouse lashing in the opener. Southampton reached for the self-destruct button when Kevin Moore's clearance that almost blew Carl Bradshaw clean away bounced invitingly into the path of Ada Littlejohn, who blew Southampton clean away. United already have twice as many points as at this stage of last season.
Clive Tilsley reporting there. I thought Shearer was a good goal, but Atkinson. Should we have another look at it? I mean, was it a better goal?
Well, he's got the lot, hasn't he?
Gary and Alan adjudged the right order for the top 3 goals as K, C and D. The lucky winner is Mrs. Tina Lunn of Tamworth. So well done to you, and the premium bonds are on their way. Now, one match yet to report from today, Arsenal against Chelsea. We made England's Paul Merson the subject of this week's
Follow the history of Match of the Day through the 60s,
It's a goal!
the 70s,
Graham going in.
and the 80s
Kenny Douglas!
in a new BBC video box set.